G'day guys, and welcome to episode 6 of the beginner series. Now I just wanted to go through today and show you guys what I've been doing over the past week or so. We are currently just finished our first 2 weeks of the game. The Amira's blessing has just gone off, and I thought now is a good opportunity to show you guys what we've been able to achieve in the first 2 weeks and where we're currently at in the game, as well as go through some future plans with the account and what you need to be doing next to progress. Okay, so you can see here by my mana count here, we've got 23.5 million mana. So what have I been doing for the past week or so? I've been farming GB12. That's it. That's all I've been doing, with the exception of I have 6-starred 2 new units. We have 6-starred the Lauren here, and we have also 6-starred our Spectra. Now, we were currently 2Aing the Spectra, and he will be our next 2A that we're going to be using to increase our Toa hard capabilities, as well as potentially make Toa normal a little bit easier for me. I have already finished Toa normal this rotation as well, using not quite the same team as last time. We changed it around a little bit as we now have the Verd available. Let me show you guys the team that I was using, and in particular I know a lot of people are having trouble with floor 90 right now, so this is the team that I used on every single floor. It is full auto for the most part. Every now and then you will have to manual just to make sure you have skills available when you're going into the final boss stage and things like that. But other than that, it's pretty safe. Between the Fran immunity and healing, the Vigor turn cycling with its speed buff and healing as well, the Veramos cleanse, which also provides a little bit of healing, and then the Verd and the Kaki are both self healers with some recovery on their skill 1s. Because of that, it's pretty difficult to kill you. So if you can just make everything here tanky enough, you will survive a couple of shots from the enemy and then basically heal yourself back up. With the Verd in here as well, you do end up taking multiple turns compared to what you're versing, just with the turn cycling and the speed buff on as well. So because of that, it's pretty safe to get through. It's not the fastest team, but with Toa, who really cares? As long as you can auto it, and this team will auto all floors, including the boss stages as well. You do sometime with the boss though have to just target specific units at a time, either the boss or for this floor in particular, which is I know the one that people are having trouble with. The way I dealt with this is I focused the side mobs first. I took out the wind monkeys first and then moved on to the light yetis before then finally just focusing singularly on Artemil. When I did this, it was very close, but I still did manage to get through with this team. The Verd did die. He did go down after I took out the first monkey, and then I managed to get through the rest of them without losing another unit, and then finally we could just focus on purely Artemil. So this team here, as it is, will get through. Let me just quickly show you the runes on them. This is still the Violent Will set that you got for the Veramos. This is still the Swift Energy set that they give you as well on the Vigor. We now have a Swift Energy set on the Kaki here. The Fran is still on the Swift Energy set as well. I think I've made a couple of upgrades to some of these. And then the Verd is on a Swift Blade set as well, and just with some HP artifacts. So basically everybody here is on HP artifacts as well. So you can see here they're all maxed out. The Kaki with the attack ones, and then the Vigor's got the HP ones as well. So you can see here everybody's maxed out with their artifacts. All their runes are maxed out as well. So because of that, it's just like you may as well, these rune sets that they give you, max them all out, max all the artifacts out. These artifacts are only white artifacts as well. They're only there for the substats. They're not there, they're only there for the main stat. They're not needed necessarily for the substat. So this team here, it is good enough to get you through. I know that you can go build some other things. You can go fuse yourself a gene if you wanted to. There are plenty of other options. There are so many options for Toa. The point of this is that you only need these few units to get through, as well as these units currently have other purposes for us in both our dungeon farming and mainly in our 2A farming right now. So that's why I've used these units here to get through, and just to show that you can without having to build extra units. Okay, so now that we've got all of our units that we needed 6-starred, you can see here, so this is all of the units that I have been using to get to this point of the game. The Lauren and the Spectra we haven't actually used yet. We're using them currently to 2A the Spectra, but that's it. Up until this point, we haven't needed them at all. So other than that, you can see here the only units that you do need and that you do need to 6-star to get through. Okay, so the other reason that we've been farming for the entire week is not only did you have double mana on as well as a double experience, so this is why I've been able to collect as much mana, but we're also just trying to increase the rune pool that we have. So as we're trying to progress through the game, every time we need to build a new unit, we already have the runes there to put on it and get a decent enough set so it can actually do the role that we're trying to get it to do. So you can see here that these are all the runes that I've collected. They've all been rolled to +9 as well. So I have checked that they are ones that are good enough for me to keep at this point of the game. And you can see here I'm not using a lot of them because initially these are all the runes that the game gives you, and these are the sets that have been put on. And then all I've done is, you can see here when they've been equipped or something, these are just the few little upgrades that I've done to the initial sets here. So not a great deal, but just a little bit of upgrading to what we already were given in the game. And this just increases the stability of all of our dungeons and the speed and things like that as well as just keeps us alive so we can start farming higher levels of the dimensional hull. Okay, we have also finished the Choose Your Own Nat 5 event. We've got all of our selections here. Now, of all these units here, nothing is really going to be helping us out early game, so we may as well focus on and take a unit that is going to help us the most end game. And of all of these units here, it is definitely Oliver. He is a 33 speed lead. He is the strongest unit in the game right now. He is potentially going to be getting a nerf. However, I still don't think that's going to make him completely useless. I think even if he does get a nerf, he's still going to be the strongest 33 lead that's in the game still after that. He's going to be the one that we're taking, and he is going to be a massive boost for us as soon as we get into some PvP action. Alrighty, there we go. So we've now got Oliver as well, another Nat 5 here that we can add to our monster pool. The other ones that we've got are, some of them are usable in some PvP stuff, but some of them aren't. But that doesn't matter. We'll put him aside for now. We'll put him in storage, and we'll build him and use him later on as soon as we look to start getting into some RTA in the near future. Okay, now the other thing that I wanted to show you guys is some of the runes that we've been able to get while we've been farming GB12. This is why it's very important to, initially when you get into GB12 there, you can actually stay there for a long time. You are going to at some point have to farm a lot of GB12 if you want to start competing in endgame areas. You do need to have a certain speed requirement for your speed units if you want to potentially try and take first turn. So living in Giants for a long time is not a bad idea at all, and this is actually how I'm going to progress through the game. I'm not going to rush through. I'm not going to go and build a beginner Necro team. I'm not going to build a beginner Giants team. I'm going to go straight from GB12 to R5. Now to do this, I'm going to have to live in GB12 for a while and get strong enough fatal runes that I can build a fatal bale, as well as then use the rune crafting material that I get to craft the will runes that I need, rather than having to farm Necro. So because of this, I'm going to be in Giants for a while. I don't know how long this is going to take me exactly. It may take me weeks, it may take me a month or so, but none of that matters, because at the end of the day, you're going to have to farm GB12 for months and months and months and months. Maybe 6 months, maybe 9 months, maybe even a year, depending on how long you want to play this game for. But it is definitely not a bad idea to spend the first 3 months of the game just living in Giants. There are certain speed requirements that you want to hit. For me personally, if you want to start competing in PvP, the first speed requirement that you need to hit is 300 speed. These days, 300 speed used to be sort of end game speeds. They're not end game speeds anymore. 300 speed now is the minimum requirement, basically, for you to get into Conqueror range. There are people way faster than that in C1 these days, but at a bare minimum, you want to be 300 speed. Now, there are shortcuts and there are cheats that you can use to achieve that, and one of those is using high base speed units. So you can see here that I've put a Swift set onto the Vigor. We're going to use him just to show you guys in place of an Ashir, as I don't have the Ashir yet. This is the other thing of why we're going to take our time a bit. We need more units, which means we need to summon more, which means we just need to be playing the game for a little bit longer. So we're going to keep doing that. But let me just show you what we've been able to do here. So this is with 1 week of farming GB12. We've already managed to get a couple of triple speed Swift runes in slot 1 here with 20 speed, and then this slot 3 here with 22 speed. So this one here deserves a legend grind on it, which will put it up to 27 total. And this one here, you could put a legend on it, but at least a +4 with a hero grind. And then these two here are just broken runes. So you can see here, these are just like low doubles. This one here is a triple as well. It is a resistance rune. So just again, just to show for speed purposes. And then these are the other Swift runes here. The slot 2 is just any slot 2 full speed rune. Doesn't really matter on the substats as much, as long as you get the speed out of it. So you can see here, we've already got a +166. Now with just hero grinds alone, that's an extra 20 speed on this total build here already, which will put it at +186, which when you add in the base speed of the Ashir of 115, this is already potentially over a 300 speed unit. So within 1 week, as soon as we have grinds on this, we already have a 300 speed unit within, just like I said, just 1 week of playing the game. So this is why 300 speed is very, very achievable. and should be your first primary focus and target in Giants before you even consider moving on to anywhere else. Now, the other thing that we're going to be looking out for while we're still farming GB12, because like I said, we're going to go straight from GB12 to BJ5, and then once we've done that, we're then going to have the grinds that we need to be able to build our Trikaru, which is going to then complete for us the other 3 dungeons that we can't run reliably and safely just yet. The Trikaru is basically the only other dungeon team that we're going to need. We're going to have the Dots team, which we've already got up and running, and then Trikaru to finish off everything else. So the runes that we're currently looking for to be able to build our Trikaru are defense runes, defense percent. You can see here, I am rolling every single defense percent rune that I am getting on slot 3 and slot 5, any defense percent substat. And you can see here, I've already picked up a fairly high triples roll with this fatal rune. So one of the first Trikarus that we're going to be building is a fatal Trikaru. So we're looking out for defense main stat on slot 2, 4, and 6 with a flat defense substat, and then high triple rolls defense percent on slot 3 and 5. And then slot 1 is a free rune, which we do have some determination runes. So we also want to be keeping an eye out for those when we're doing our lab. Whenever you're doing lab, you want to be picking up, when you get the selection out of the 3 boxes after completing a stage, you want to be prioritizing picking determination and fight runes, because you're going to need them for your Trikaru and your BJ5, and they are the harder ones and the rarer ones for you to get. Then you want to prioritize will runes and violent runes after that, because they're the other 2 sets that we're not really farming right now, as well as we do need some will runes to complete our BJ5. So they're the runes and the grinds that you want to be prioritizing when you're farming your lab. And when you're farming your GB12, you want to be keeping an eye out for these very high defense runes, and then eventually we'll be able to build our Trikaru without having to farm any dragons, without having to farm any necro. Again, just for efficiency wise, we're going to be just farming the GB12 into the solo R5 and then building the rest of the teams from there. Okay, now to get the will runes that we are eventually going to need as well, that is the only other thing that we're not able to farm right now. We do need some will runes on our Bale and a few of the other units. The Bale, in terms of will runes, is going to have the highest requirement for us. So this is where we're going to be looking to pick them up. Also, you can get will runes anytime there's an event on. Grab a will rune just until you get. We're only looking for a couple of really good damage dealing will runes to get on the Bale, and then the rest of that we can fill out with whatever fatal runes that we're going to be getting from GB12. So let's just do a quick little 10 craft now and just see how we go, and if we get anything that we can keep and potentially use on Bale or any of the other units in BJ5. You can see here we actually picked up a legend rune straight away. Not really the most desirable stats in terms of Bale, and no innate. Probably not one that we want to re-app. We'll roll it anyway. This could still roll good enough. We're not looking for insane runes. With the BJ5 requirements these days, especially if you can jump in with another couple of people to just to initially get started in there, most people's Bale these days hits well above what you actually need to hit. So as long as our Bale is good enough that we can carry our weight and just start farming, even with some guild members or main account that you may have, or a couple of friends that you've got that play the game, that'll be good enough just to get us into BJ5 initially, just to collect those gems and grinds that we need to then start building the rest of our teams. Okay, so you can see here that we did get some will runes that are like okay. They're not the best quality here. I'm not sure if they are going to be good enough for a Bale just yet. We will keep looking for some better ones. But like this one here, really high attack percent, already got crit rate on it. So this one here, like even a blue rune, as long as it's very, very good in terms of all the substats that it rolls, it still may be good enough mixed in with some purple and legend fatal runes to still be good enough for Bale. So we'll hold on to these. We got plenty of rune space right now. We may as well as will runes just for some turn 2 stuff, and just areas in the game are really good. So we'll hold on to all these ones now. Are they good enough for our Bale initially? Not too sure, but we'll just in case, and we'll just keep, like I said, farming away, like 1 week's worth of farming, and we've already got some here that are potentially going to be usable. Alrighty, we got a few summons on the account to do as well. Let's just quickly do those, and then we'll just do a quick recap on basically what I'm going to be doing over the next few weeks or month or so, and what the plans are with this beginner series. So let's just do some summons first, see what we get. We got a few LD scrolls as well. Let's do this legendary first. Gargoyle, we don't need him. He can just go in storage. LD scrolls. Now there are a few LD3s that we're looking to keep an eye out for. We're looking for the Light Griffin in Shaman. We're looking for the Dark Mystic Witch in Gina. The Light Werewolf in Ashia. We're looking for the Dark Grim Reaper in Thrain as well. So there are a few that we're looking for here to get, as well as obviously any LD4 would be nice as well at this point. But actually, okay, there we go, perfect. So Thrain, he's one of the good ones to get early on as well. He is fantastic for Toa, so we will be building him after I finish off a couple of the other 2As. In terms of the future plans and how we're going to progress through, other than just constantly and consistently farming our GB12, upping our overall rune quality, we're going to be continuing along with some 2A projects as well. The first one here being Spectra. Like I said, he's going to help us with our Toa normal and our Toa hard. The Vigor as well is going to just help us in all areas of the game. He's great in Siege, he's great in Guild Wars. I've been using him in the Auto Toa as well, so he's just great and going to be used everywhere. So he's going to be one of our early 2As as well. And now that we've picked up the Dark Grim Reaper in Thrain, he will also be one of our early 2As. So once we've got those done, we can then start moving on and looking to building and 2Aing our 3 Ikarus. If you pull any of the other usable LD3s early on, feel free to use those and build those as well. Other than that, the other 2As that you might want to look at building is a Lulu, possibly a Darien as well. You don't really need these, but they are going to be used and useful a long game anyway. So these are kind of like the next at least 5 or 6 projects in terms of 2As that you guys are going to be looking to build, which will probably take you about 3 to 4, maybe even 5 weeks to do, depending on how much dimensional hole energy you've currently got and what level of the dimensional hole you're going to be able to run. So that'll basically keep you guys busy for another month or so in just the dimensional hole area of the game. And in that time, we'll also hopefully be able to collect enough runes from GB12 that we can look to build our first Bale and solo R5 team. So the only other thing that you're going to want to be doing over the next few weeks or month is fusing your Bale and just starting to collect the pieces required for your BJ5. Feel free to just look up any of the BJ5 guides that are already on YouTube for the exact units that you need if you don't know what they are. Well, that's it for me today, guys. That sort of showed exactly what I've been able to do and what you could be looking at getting done during your first 2 weeks, as well as a bit of a forward plan for, let's say, the next month or so. Just consistently farming and improving your rune quality and starting to get together the pieces that you need to progress through to the next stage of the game. I'm going to be taking a bit of a break now with the beginner series. I've got some other projects on that are going to be requiring a bit more time from me. So I'll just keep farming this in the background. I'll keep doing my Toa. I'll keep farming GB12. If you guys have any questions in the meantime, feel free to just comment down below, contact me on Discord, comment on any of my future videos with whatever questions you've got. It's completely okay. I don't mind answering it. Or you can come see me on Twitch when I'm live streaming there and just ask any questions or give me any updates on how you guys are progressing. Thanks very much for watching. I've had a lot of fun doing this beginner series. It's been a lot of work, but I've really enjoyed it and have been really enjoying the response that I'm getting from you guys. It's been very, very positive in terms of you guys enjoying what I'm doing and letting me know that you guys are learning from what I've been putting out there as well. So thank you very much for the feedback. I really appreciate that. And I'll see you guys in the next one.